ready. Ukulele, instrumental, Daisy Bell, Ode to Joy for Elise. We're going to play all those today. Let's make sure that you are in jollyrogerukulele.com. That's the website you got to go to. I'm going to go post our link to that right now. Edit page. And we are doing fine with this, and then this, and then this. Let's see, I post this link right here. Okay, delete, right click, paste, highlight, shift, highlight, link, enter, edit, settings, open a new window, update, and update. All right, so we are ready to play, I think. Let's make sure that the link opens up quickly. It's now 11:59, so we'll start the class in 6 minutes. If you're watching the video of this, feel free to zip on ahead 6 minutes. This is the part where we let everybody come in, sit down, and crack open a beer. And so let me make sure the link is working. And Daisy Bell for Elise, Ode to Joy. Absolutely, we're in good shape. You guys will let me know if the sound is okay as you're logging in. And that's where we're at today. We are in post news interview mode, which means that I am trying to get my head back around a crazy morning today. And I'm going to, in the next hour, I'm going to show you what actually happened, which is very exciting. So we'll get everybody rolling along with that. Today in Next Level Ukulele, yesterday we did Silent Night and Auld Lang Syne. We'll do those again today, and then we're also going to do For Elise and Ode to Joy, which is our real music for today. We already did some of that earlier, and then we got First Noel and Adeste Fidelis coming out this week, and maybe a couple of others. I'm hoping this afternoon. Today is Tuesday. I have a harmonica Zoom class and a ukulele Zoom class, but they end pretty early, and then we will be moving into writing Christmas music mode. So hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Like I say, we're going to start in about 5 minutes, so take your time to get yourself tuned up, cleaned up, ready to rock and roll. Drink some coffee, drink a whiskey if you are in the right time zone. I don't know. I hope I didn't have anything too weird on this desk. All right. Let's see. Oh, goodness. I better get my sheet music up and running. Dum, da, 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 dum. We just played Smoke Gets in Your Eye in harmonica class, and so now that's in my head. Hey, Donna. Great question. It was our local channel 7 here. She says it's going to air Sunday night at the 10 p.m. time slot. So I'm sure they'll post it to their website after that. And once it's up, I will post it on here to let you guys have a look at it as well. Or at least I'll post the link to it so that we can have a hilarious moment in time where we're like, oh gosh, what we're doing here is entertaining. Oh, and they do the local news here does a great job with recognizing people who are doing something kind of important and interesting for the community. And hopefully I won't have said anything too ridiculous. But yeah, channel 7, Donna. I don't know if you watch them in the morning. They there's Molly Hendrickson. She's the red-haired girl who does the red-haired anchor. It's not as red as I thought it was. She's kind of gone blonde, but the morning news anchor. I was talking to her. It's fascinating because, she's broadcasting every day as well. And I said, well, it's kind of unusual, times being what they are. I says it's probably not very many people down at the station, and she says it's a ghost town there, and it's kind of lonely a little bit. You know, we just don't get the chance to see people, and especially in a business where you're in news, you are all about people, and to have nothing, not have the ability to do what you normally do with the people you normally do it to. I think she's was like all of us, they're struggling a little bit. So yeah, crazy times, crazy times. So this computer, this little gadget I use with my sheet music, updated apparently again, and it wiped out my library. So I have to keep uploading the music that we're going to play every day. And I hope it stops doing that, because it didn't do it at first, and then a day or two later, my library was missing. So let's see, Daisy Bell. So everything's still in the downloads. It's just not, when you open it up, it magically appears in your library. So I had all my ukulele stuff up and ready to roll. And in any event, we'll be in good shape. So here we go, Daisy Bell. And remember, if you're just logging in, this class is divided into two bits. The first part is always the introductory stuff, and then the second part of it is the book 2 stuff. And then at the next hour, I do the stuff that's not in any book. So we have level 1 and level 2 basically in this time slot, and then level 3-ish, whatever that is, in the next hour. So those of you who are newer or are working on getting your ukulele chops in order, that's how this is set up. Works out pretty well. I think that this way you can feel like, hey, I'm working my way into feeling comfortable with this stuff. And then once you feel comfortable with it, then it's all the same. It's all goes back to Frere Jacques, My Spaghetti Monster. It really, that's built off of those two pieces more than anything else in the entire program. Build you melody playing, chord playing, melody and chord playing. And so that's what we're doing here. And all right, 12:05. Got a small group today. Hopefully, they all got the email. They're like, I don't know what the heck he's doing. I'm going to skip it today. All right, Daisy Bell. This is one of my all-time favorite songs, and so let me tell you why. In the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It is going to be the most interesting film that you'll watch in a long time. They don't make movies like this at all, and the fact that this one got made is crazy. But in 2001: A Space Odyssey, there's a scene toward the end where the spaceman gets locked out of the spaceship. He has to fight his way back into the spaceship, and then he starts disconnecting the computer. And at the end, when the computer is about to die, he says, hey, Dave, I want to sing you a song. And Dave says, okay, sing me a song. And the computer sings, HAL 9000 sings, Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer do, sings Daisy Bell. And right as he's ending up at the end of the song, he just dies. Okay. So then the question is, you're like, oh, well, that's weird. What an odd scene. I get it. He's killing the computer, and the computer singing a song at the end. Weird that it would sing a song. And why Daisy Bell? Well, you have to be a class 4. Class 4 is at the highest level. I've set my DVR. Donna's like, I don't know. I don't think I want to watch that. The question is, why does he sing Daisy Bell of all things? Well, that goes to the next part of the story. Every day in our lives now, we can just go to the internet and download a song. Well, there had to be a point at some point where or if you call into a place and you're like, for service, press 1, for whatever, press 2. Somebody at some point, there had to be the very first voice on the computer, and that voice had to be programmed to sing a song. Well, the very first song ever programmed to be sung by a computer was Daisy Bell. So now you see why when HAL 9000 is dying, he goes back into his childhood to the point where he learned his first song, and then he died. So that's high-level nerd. Is the level 4 the highest nerd level? I don't know. Hey, Ellen, welcome in. So, Daisy Bell. Now, Daisy Bell, we used to, typically when we've heard it, it's Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer do. I'm half crazy all for the love of you. So it's supposed to be a rather jaunty feeling. What I did though is I wanted you to make sure you're starting to understand counting and how important that is in music. And so this is arranged in three and it's arranged quite slowly. So what I would like for you to notice in first measure is kind of dotted half note. That's worth 3 beats. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 2, 3, half 2, 3. Gray 2, 3, Z 2, 3. All for the love of you. 2, 3, 1, 2. It won't be a stylish marriage. 3, 1, 2. I can't afford a carriage. 3, 1, 2. But you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you're really focused in on 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's all of that business of counting. And so it's important because, especially if you end up playing with other people, the only thing we have in common is time. And so we want to make sure that we understand how time works with a piece of music. So this is arranged differently than we're used to hearing it. I have to sneeze. We have had a rather dry summer here and a rather dry fall. It did snow a little bit yesterday, but I've been having terrible sneezes. I think we got a dust in the air. Hey, Melissa, welcome in. Okay, so let's grab the chords. Let's talk about some of the chords you're going to hate, right? So you got an F chord, Daisy, Daisy, okay? And then you're going to go to B flat. Okay, B flat. This is the chord you learn to hate early on, but it's not the end of the world. Full bar, middle finger, ring finger. That's what I want you to do. Now, some of you will end up using a partial bar here. This covers 2 strings, then the middle, and then the ring. But I really want this. This is what I really like. Okay. Okay, that's your B flat. Okay. Down at measure 9, you have a C7. That's this one. Da-da-da. Measure 11, you have go back to F, and then at measure 12, don't take F off, just add your ring finger on to make a D minor. Okay, so a D minor is just an F with your ring finger added. And then very normal, you'll see this happen a lot when you're playing a D minor, your finger's going to drop down and grab your G7. Okay, so that little motion there, don't move your index finger, just plunk, and just on the G7. Goes back to C7, goes back to F, goes back to that B flat. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about B flat in just a second, and then you round out the song with F, C7, F, C7, F, C7, F, C7. Okay, B flat. When you first have to make it, it doesn't go well. Okay, okay, you need a lot of that. Clunk, 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 clunk. Just let that be that. Don't worry about it. There comes a day when your hand strength reaches the point where you're like, okay, and it comes in. Okay? But in the beginning, you're gonna play that. It's fine. It should not go beyond your notice that ukulele makes a terrific percussion instrument. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. Okay, so you could actually play it just like that. Okay, it's a wonderful percussion instrument. 75 and sunny, had to get some outdoor time in it. Oh, okay. Hey, Lynn. 75 and sunny is the perfect temperature, right? That's when we go outside. Now, that's sort of the 20 degrees in Europe, right? I think 20 is perfect in Europe. All right. So you know your chords. When we get to the B flat, I'll give you a little bit of a moment to let you get it on. Okay. Here we go. 3 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3. Daisy. Daisy. B flat, get it on, and go. Give me your answer. 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm half crazy, all for the love English marriage 3, 1, 2. I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet right on the seat of a bicycle built for 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and a lot of times measure 32 is supposed to have 3 beats, right? With a bicycle built for 2, 2, 3. A lot of times, instead of just strumming all 3 and 32, you might just do one big strum. Okay, let it go through there. The real skill set here is making sure you know that there's 3 beats in every measure. And then the other skill set is learning to tolerate your B flat. However it happens, if it sounds terrible, it sounds terrible, and you move on. You don't lose sleep over B flat. Now, there'll be a day when you get the proper hand strength in your thumb. There's 3 muscles you're working on developing. And there comes this day when all of a sudden, I think it was yesterday, the day before, Fran hit the miracle mile, and her B flat was there. Right? And so it's one of those things where when you first start, you feel like, oh, this is the most important thing in the world. It is not the most important thing in the world. If that's how you play B flat, that's how you play B flat right now, and you don't worry about it, okay? Because it resolves itself eventually. Let's play the melody. Sung it a couple of times. So let's. It's all either a 1, 2, or 3. So it's entirely in first position. So ring finger, middle finger, and index finger. Just make sure you're on the right string, and you'll have the melody jump out at you. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. 2, oh, 1, 2. 1, oh, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, oh, 1, 3. Oh, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, 1, oh, 3, 3. Oh, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. 3, oh, 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, 3, 1, 2. Oh, 1, oh, 3. Oh, 1, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, beautiful piece of music, right? Just lovely the way it moves around the page. Sometimes people accuse me of only playing old-fashioned tunes. This was the number one in 1892. So you are playing the hits. It's ignore the fact that it's from 1892. Just focus on the fact you're playing the number one song. All right. Tough uke. We're going to walk through the whole thing, make sure we know what we're supposed to do at every moment, and then we will go back and play it. Okay? That coffee feels like it ended up all over my lip. I want to be beautiful for you people. For you people. For you guys. For you. For you. For you. All right. You know how you go on YouTube and they're like, hello, beautiful people. And you're like, hi. And then they're like, the video is 7 years old. And you're like, why are they? I wonder if they're still even alive. Well, that's the odd part about this. It's me and you. That's it. That's all we got here. Okay. From the top, and who knows? It'll be funny if this video is still here 7 years from now. F chord. Pinky on 3. Okay, there you go. D. Now take your pinky off. Z. Now three strings, so do your rest stroke. D, and your thumb is resting there, and then hit the 0 by itself. Z. And then you got 201. Give me your hand. And the 2 again. Sir, do 1, 0, 1, 0. And 003. Make sure you're doing a rest stroke. And then on the bottom 3. F. And then an F chord. Ray. And turn it into a D minor. You're going to play 3 strings. Z. 201. All for the chord is a G7, but the melody note's on the 3, so it's going to look exactly like a G chord. So just put that on there. Love. Lift up your middle finger. Love. And then U is 003. U. Lose your ring finger. Hit the 1. Okay, and that's just a little arpeggio through there. Play the 0. Then a nice strum. 03. Big 0003. Then the 0. 131. F chord. 3. Another F chord. Can't afford a carriage. And a nice F chord here. 0, but partial F is 201. You'll full F chord. Look, 003. Sweet. F chord. Beyond the seat. 01. F chord with your pinky again. No pinky. There. 3 strings. Go. 003. Build. Open. 4. 2. And then a nice bar chord. Pinky on 5. There you go. That's kind of a cool way to end it, right? Nice full bar on 5, pinky on 8. Just pretty. That's one of the reasons a lot of songs I love to arrange in the key of F on the ukulele. They just fit on here really nice, sound beautiful. The downside is B flat comes along for the ride, and a lot of people hate B flat. All right, if you're new, play the melody. If you've been around a little while, give yourself an opportunity to play tough uke. You've been around a long time, try doing it with your claw, right? Okay, give that a try and see if that keeps you busy. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 3. Oh, isn't that lovely? I love that tune. Love that so much. Everything about that feels right. Also notice, not unimportant, on the tough uke line, I just arranged around the B flat where you never have to actually make a B flat shape. Sometimes, not always, but occasionally you can set tough uke up where it's actually easier to play than just playing the chords. And so there's a way to escape a B flat. If you get solid with your melody playing and you see a B flat coming up, you really overemphasize that melody and minimize the number of things that are going on with your B flat. Pretty soon you don't even care there's a B flat there because you found a way to play around it and arrange around it. So there we go. Daisy Bells. Feels good, right? All right, we're going to knock out our 2 Beethoven pieces. A couple of you were here earlier for the taping, and so I want to knock those out with you as well. Let's go play For Elise first. For Elise, please. We had a chance to play both of the Beethovens. Hopefully, just to make it sound very fancy that we are ukulele players and we're playing Beethoven, right? That's what we want. We want to be fancy. All right. With this piece of music, a lot of you guys have had piano in your background probably. Right, and you're supposed to play it real fast. On ukulele, don't do that. Don't even worry about playing it any particular speed. You play it at the speed that your hand will make this happen. The bigger question is not how fast you play it, but getting the pacing correct. And so you want to try to make all these eighth notes mean something. Every note on throughout the entire piece um, has something going on every eighth note, right? There's one exception in measure 8. There's a quarter note there, and then measure 21 is all quarter notes. Okay, but other than that, you're gonna be playing something on every eighth note. So set up whatever pace you think you can play, and it's going to sound the prettiest. Okay, so from the top, let's just do a little bit, and then we'll stop on each chord and talk about how to think about them. Okay, so 7/6, go. No, I'm just taking my pinky and moving it up to the second string to get that other 7. Probably possible to just cover both of them at the same time, then you don't have to move anything, but I find it awkward then to play the 6s. So just when I see that second 7 coming up, I just take my pinky and lift it up there, and I'll be fine. Okay, so let's start from the beginning again. 5, 3, and then you have an A minor chord here. That's the way to think about that, is an A minor. And an E7, 1, 2, 0, 2. Pinky finger on that 4. Use your pinky finger. Whenever you see a 4, in 95% of the cases, you're going to use your pinky, even though it's a bummer. And then you're already holding the other 2 down. And then take this little shape here, this E7 up to this A minor. That is such a normal thing in music. Same exact motion that happens in Stairway to Heaven, right? Just the E7 to A minor. That's going to happen a lot. Okay, and then 2003. Then we're going to repeat that same idea. E7, 3, 2, and then the A minor. And then remember, don't fall asleep here. That quarter note there in the middle of 8 is bum, bum. The only reason it's there is to give you enough time to get up back to your 7s, and then don't slow down there. Just go right back up to measure 1 and keep going. Time, my eyeball went to measure 8, and your eyeball should have gone to measure 9 because we're now on the second ending, right? So I would have just screwed up when I hit that. I've been like, oh shoot, that's not where I'm supposed to be. Jump up. Hopefully the same chord sitting to measure 9, which it is. But remember, the second time through, skip measure 8. Okay, so we're measure 9. Boom, bum, bum. Now we get to the hard part. 2, 3, 5. Slide up to the 7. Couple of 3s, 8, 7, G chord with your pinky. That one's hard to get to. 7, 5, A minor with your 3, 5, 3, E7. And now you survive the hard part, and now we go back to the 7s and 6s. Beautiful. Okay. Really nice piece of music there. Those of you guys that are at a little bit higher, if you're not higher, right? Those of you guys that are like, yep, I'm playing that pretty well. I want to play it in a different way. Grab your claw, right? And give that a shot. Okay, so that's the other way to be playing this. Usually your claw sounds less pretty than your thumb, usually. But that doesn't necessarily always mean you want to always sound pretty or smooth or whatever. Most of the time you do, but not always. Sometimes on a piece like this that's very classical in nature, you may want it to sound a little bit more staccato, a little bit more hoppy. I don't know if that's the right way to think. Bum 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 bum. Right, you might want a little bit more of that, and you got a lot more control over that with the claw shape than you do with your thumb. So be mindful. We're never about playing what's on the paper. We're always about playing what's on the paper as interpreted by you, right? As interpreted through your body. And so you want to be practicing all these other skills and then trying them out on each sheet of music. Eventually you'll find the way you play this particular tune, and it may or may not be the way I play it, and that's okay, right? We want you to feel like, hey, I bring all my toolbox to this, make all of these adjustments and decisions about it, end up with a really nice piece of music, and I may or may not be playing it the same way as Gary wrote it. I may not even be playing it the way it's intended, but I have found the cool way that I'm going to play it. So can you explain the finger positions for the chords in measure 4 again? Measure 4. Oh, okay. So coming out of 3, okay, you're in this E7 shape. I'm sorry. Your pinky's going to grab that 4 in measure 3. Now this is the ring finger sitting on the bottom of this, right? So if you notice, I'm holding this E7 and I've just hit the 4, and then this 2 is already held down. So I just have to make that modification in measure 3. Now, all I need to do into measure 4, I'm taking that E7, sliding it up, and losing the middle finger. Okay, now I have 2 and 3 on there. Okay. See how nice that is? It's honest to goodness why Jimmy Page in Led Zeppelin in Stairway to Heaven is absolutely why he used that choice. And on guitar, this is a B7, and he slides it right up here to an E minor with the melody note up here. So yeah, so it makes perfect sense, and it's an E7 very naturally flows into an A minor. And all you got to do is take that E7, push it up, raise this up, and it has a nice completion to it. So yeah, that's what's going on there. It's not unimportant for you to think about, this is Beethoven. Beethoven could write anything. He wrote the best song ever. And he's using all of the same exact stuff that we use every single day. 1-4-5 arrangement. Going from an E7 to an A minor is textbook music theory. And here it is right here. So a lot of times we sort of, with classical music, we're like, oh, I don't know. That's supposed to be for smart people. Classical music has this tendency to follow exactly all the rules, because who's writing it? People who have studied music their whole life. It has this tendency to actually fit onto ukulele and be relatively predictable. Jazz is a little different story, right? Jazz, they're purposely trying to break all the rules. Unfortunately, the guys that are working on jazz are guys who've been to music school. They know all the rules, so they actually have to physically think about how to break the rules, and some of them are better at it than others. My brain and fingers are having a disconnect with the E7. Hey, Linda, where you been? Glad you're here. The E7. This, it turns out, is a very, very important chord for what we do in instrumental ukulele. Okay, here's your A chord. It goes with the D chord, and their buddy is E7. Okay, so index finger on top, middle finger here, ring finger here. Now, of all of the 7th chords, this is not necessarily, it's sort of in the middle of the pack in terms of difficulty, right? I think it's easier than G7. It's not nearly as easy as A7, much easier than B7, a little harder than C7, D7, you got choices, right? But E7 is not terribly, terribly unfortunate. Index, middle, ring. Okay. Here's the reason why this is important, because in ukulele music, especially Tin Pan Alley era, where it's full of 7th notes, turning this into a bar shape, okay, if I need to move this up 1 fret to here, I've got this string that's open, so I got to fix that. So index finger, and then I'm going to use middle, ring, and pinky. Okay, so if I'm using middle, ring, and pinky, I slide it up and put that there. This shape, unfortunately, is going to end up being pretty important because this is an F7. That's going to come up. If I move it up 2, this is a G7. That's going to come up. And if I move it up one more to this E7, which is an A7 at the 5th fret, this is going to come up in Tin Pan Alley music all the time. That shape right there, because you're playing an A7 and your pinky is sitting on the E note, which is aching to become an A minor. So just so you know, that business of E7 is going to come up. And so don't spend too much time stressing out about E7. Just know it is a real chord. It is going to come back. And it should be one of those that one day is just not quite a problem. You know, just one day you'll be like, oh, yeah, there's an E7. I can do that. All right. That's for Elise. Let's go grab Ode to Joy, and then we'll be done for the day. Well done until the next hour. Hopefully you're going to come play a little bit of For Elise and Ode to Joy, since you've already got it covered twice today. I never feel particularly bad about playing a lot of Beethoven. I think it's fine. I think it's lovely. Ode to Joy ukulele. Okay, Ode to Joy. I want to talk about how chords and melody go together and how we then decorate it. Okay, so there's a several part process I want you to look through here. So with this Ode to Joy, you have F chord, bum, bum. I need to have it covered twice. Oh, like, yeah, if you could talk about E7 for a little while longer, that would be helpful. You'll be fine, Aitlin. All right, Ode to Joy. This has no E7s in it, so we'll be fine. F chord, bum, bum, G minor 7, bum, bum, C chord, ba-da, ba-da, bum, 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 ba, bum, 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 bum. Bum 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 bada bum bada bum. Isn't that cool? That A chord right there is like what? Bum ba-dum bum 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 bum. So that's what we're working on, okay? Is those chords and that melody. Now I sang the melody, and normally, guys, I give you the melody line, right? I normally write that out by itself, but this song is such a part of our cultural heritage. It's the best song ever written. It's the fourth movement of the best song ever written. You hear it a lot. It's on it used to be a ringtone for everybody's phone. It's in a lot of commercials. It's all over the place. And so you have a pretty good sense of how the melody is supposed to go. So I'm like, well, let's do a little bit of music theory training. If I take that melody and I put a chord underneath the melody notes, it will turns into Tuffuke, right? And that's your chord and melody at the same time. But the big takeaway with that thought is, as you're looking at tablature, the note on the top, which of course is the note on the bottom string of your ukulele, that's the melody. So if we go through this and we look at just the top notes all the way through it, whatever note is on top, just play that note by itself, the melody is going to spill out of your ukulele. Oh, oh, 1, 3, 3, 1, oh, 3, 1, 1, 3, oh, oh, 3, 3, oh, oh, 1, 3, 3, 1, oh, 3, 1, 1, 3, oh, 3, 1, 1. oh, 1, oh, 1, 3, oh, 1, oh, 3, 1, 3, oh, oh, 1, 3, 3, 1, oh, 3, 1, 1, 3, oh, 3, 1, 1. Beautiful, right? So those are the melody notes. They're just hanging out on top of the chord and melody notes. Okay. So just know that in music, when we're playing this, the high pitched notes are the ones your ears will register as the melody. And so a lot of times when we're studying a piece of music for the first time and we're looking for that melody, it's going to be hanging out whatever these highest notes are. And then as we study it a little bit more in depth, then we're going to see chords floating around underneath that most of the time. There are exceptions. There is not uncommon on piano to put a melody over here on the left hand and put the chords in the right hand. On guitar, it's sort of that next level of virtuosity, I guess, where you'll put the chords in your lower fingers and then you'll be busy playing a melody up here in your thumb. It's not uncommon to reverse those, but it's way less common than putting the melody as the high note and the chords underneath it. When I'm doing arrangements, and especially for this instrument, on 95, 99% of the cases, I'm thinking, all right, there's the melody. What can I fit in underneath it? And it's a way to make you sound really nice, really fast without having to do a ton of work. And it also fits very nicely into our thumb down program that we do. And also with this, and you'll see how much more difficult it is when we add it into painful ukulele, because you're going to have all these other notes sort of hanging around the melody. Okay, so now let's go through and do the tough uke, just one time through from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And if you're on the first time through, then of course go back and play it a second time. If you're on the second time through, then you're going to play to the end. That last chord in measure 18, bar and pinky. Okay. Same thing as we've already run through. Okay. Now you see, all I've done is take that melody line and just added in a chord underneath it every other beat. Beat 1 and beat 3 has a chord underneath it every single time, every single place in this entire piece of music, so that now you're getting the chord and the melody at the same time. The melody is always that highest pitch note as you're playing along, so it stands out in your ear. You're like, oh yeah, I know that melody, and it doesn't matter that there's a chord hanging out underneath it, creating this beautiful in-depth environment for where that melody lives. Then we go into the tough uke, guys, and this is where we take a moment. Painful ukulele, and as Evelyn's like, painful? What? Tough uke was bad enough. So with painful ukulele, I'm going to put a pause on today's lesson, okay? And I'm going to encourage you to come to the next hour, okay? Because the next hour is, this hour is supposed to be, hey, level 1, level 2. That's where I need you to be at level 1 and level 2. I need you to know how to play a melody. I need you to know how to play chords. I need you to know how to put them together. I don't really need you to be able to play finger style. And that's what painful uke is. It's a finger style arrangement where every eighth note, something's happening. And so I want to go over that in the next hour with everybody. We're doing these exact 2 songs in that hour, and I'm going to talk myself ragged over these 2 songs. And so we're going to dig into heavy duty into painful ukulele. But Evelyn, just to give you the preview, if I'm on measure 1, and the just measure 1, for example, the tough uke would be, okay, that's it. When I go to painful uke or true fingerstyle ukulele, I'm not going to be playing with my thumb anymore. I'm going to be going with the claw. I'm going with that F chord. Okay, I'm plucking it just like I did the tough uke. But now I'm going to add in this 1, and then that 0 is a melody note. And then I'm going to come back and grab that 1 again. Then I'm going to put the next chord on, pluck everybody. And then I've got the 3 as a melody note. Okay, so I'm adding in a bunch of extra notes that are going to decorate the song. And so if I'm at full speed, what I'm playing is, so that's what's going on in painful uke, is that we are actually playing legitimate, fully written out, 100% true fingerstyle ukulele. And so in my head, okay, chord melody doesn't, that saying you're playing chord melody doesn't necessarily convey what we really do in tough uke, because in tough uke sometimes we play chords, sometimes we play melody, sometimes we mix it together, sometimes we don't, sometimes we do, and so it's a mixture. That's why I call it tough uke, is because it's really what I would consider to be advanced chord melody. It's different than, like, if you remember on Three Blind Mice, we played the chord and the melody every single time. That's kind of chord melody. That's why you're playing your left hand and your right hand. Dun, 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 same time for everything. But we don't always do that, almost rarely do that. Most of the time we're grabbing chords, playing partial melodies and some chords and a little bit of and this and that and this. And so there's lots of moving around. So that's what tough uke comes in, where we're playing some chords, some melody, making sure it all works together, has a playability factor that's important in tough uke. I don't put tough uke into crazy weirdo keys that are going to be hard to play on ukulele. It's just not good for anybody. And then in painful uke, which is true fingerstyle, I could absolutely just change the word of that to fingerstyle ukulele. And that is typically, not always, but typically in fingerstyle, we're looking at a note every single eighth note. We're wanting that thing to just roll through all of the time. So there's really no moment where there's ever silence. There's always this next note coming at you. Right? So we're always making another note. The decorative notes that are added in around the main theme and around the main melody are chordal notes, a note out of the chord that sounds pretty, kind of helps kind of move the music along. That's what painful uke does. That's what fingerstyle ukulele, fingerstyle guitar, fingerstyle banjo. Banjo's perfect for that sort of thing. You're always busy, so busy picking arpeggios that adding in the melody is sometimes almost a halfway of an afterthought, in the sense that, boy, you got to get in all your decoration, but then you got to have these fingers at the right moment to get the melody to come out. And so that's when we get to true fingerstyle playing or painful uke, then we're looking at, now we sound a little bit like a banjo player, so that's kind of cool. Are the notes at the top of the chord line the same as painful uke? Yep, there's just extra notes. Yep, you got it, Nancy. Absolutely. So you can even compare, right? So you're in measure 1, you see the F chord, then there's a 1, right? That 1 doesn't show up in the tough uke, but that 0 does, right? So we've got the next melody note, and then that 1 doesn't show up, so that's not a melody note. And then you got 1 1 2 0. It shows up in both the tough uke and the painful uke, so there's a melody note. So in that measure 1, all of the ones on the second string, they're just decoration. They're just there to keep the thing moving forward. And your melody notes are all the same exact notes as on tough uke. Okay, so it's not a different song. It's the same exact thing. We've just added in a ton of decoration around there. player. So we'll dive into that a little bit more in the next hour with those guys. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to make, as always, you make the decisions how you want to play a piece of music. If you're playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you're probably not going to work this hard. But if you're playing Beethoven, you might want to. You might want it to be even prettier than Beethoven wrote it. So depends on the situation. But come to the next hour if you guys can, and we'll start with Ode to Joy. How about that? I need to take a small break. My head is pounding at the moment, so I'm going to go grab some aspirin, and then I will be back and at the top of the hour, and we'll start with Ode to Joy. That way, you guys, and then we'll go to For Elise, Silent Night, and whatever the other Christmas tune is we're working up there, and we'll do that. Okay. So thanks for being here, guys. Remember, be safe, do good, practice. Yeah. Keep showing up. That's the hard part. If you keep showing up, you will be a great ukulele player. I promise. Money back guarantee that you can, if you just will put in the time with me, you will suddenly one day music will make perfect sense, and you will be a fine ukulele player for the rest of your life. Getting this figured out, at least initially. If you're working at this level, you're already there, right? It's just now you got to log in. You got to do your reps. Like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to sneak out. Thank you guys all for being here. I will see you next hour. We are getting. Vic says so true. Wait, I said something true. Stop the presses. Most of the stuff I say is complete nonsense, but every now and then something comes out of my face that makes sense. So biggest thing here is showing up, guys. All right, I'll see you next hour, or I'll see you tomorrow. And again, if this stuff is too hard, that's okay. You're not supposed to necessarily be working at this level right off the bat. Focusing on playing the melody of Daisy Bell. That's where it makes sense. Okay, that's level 1 stuff. Be fine with playing that stuff. It's good stuff. All right, I'll see you guys in a little while. I'm gonna go grab some aspirin.